Good day, students! Today, we are back for another grammar lesson. Last week, you have learned all about Indian literature, specifically the Ramayana epic. So what is an epic again? An epic is a long narrative poem on great and serious subject. It is centered on a heroic figure like Rama, whose actions depends on the fate of his people. Before we start our discussion for today, I have here two sentences. Mom read the novel in one day. The novel was read by Mom in one day. So I would like you to differentiate them. What have you noticed? That's right. In the first sentence, the mom is the one who does the action reading, while in the second sentence, the mom is the one being acted upon by the verb was read. So based on those sentences, do you have any idea about our lesson for today? Very good! Our lesson for today is all about active and passive voice. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to differentiate between active and passive voice. Determine if a sentence is written in active or passive voice. Transform active voice to passive voice and vice versa. And lastly, cite the importance of active and passive voice in daily communication. So here are the words that you should remember as we discuss our lesson for today. So what is a voice? The voice talks about the role of the subject in the sentence. The subject can either be the doer or the receiver of the action. In the active voice, the subject is the doer of the action, while in the passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. So let us start with the active voice. The active voice is the structure that we use most of the time. The subject is the doer of the action, and the object receives the action. Sentences in the active voice have a strong, direct, and clear tone. Here are some short but straightforward examples of active voice. The man is eating 5 hamburgers. In this sentence, the man is the subject who does the action eating. The 5 hamburgers is the direct object and the thing being acted on by the verb. Next, Alan mailed the letter. Here, Alan is the subject who performs the action described by mailed, and the letter is the direct object of the sentence. How about this one? Beautiful giraffes roam the savannah. What is the subject, action, and direct object? That's right! The subject giraffe performs the action roam, and its direct object is the savannah. And how about this? Ryan changed the flat tire. Yes, Ryan is the subject, change is the action, and flat tire is the direct object in this sentence. Remember that we use active voice to clearly state the relationship between the subject and the action. How about if we transform these sentences to passive voice? Let's find out. In passive voice, the subject is not the doer but instead is acted upon or the receiver of the action. Note that in passive voice, the main verb is constructed with a conjugated form of to be and is always in its past participle. So let's transform the sentences a while back in the active voice to passive voice. 5 hamburgers was eaten by the man. Note how the subject-verb relationship has changed. The subject in the active voice, which is the man, now becomes the object of the preposition. And the direct object hamburger becomes the subject or the thing that is being described. It is acted upon by the verb was eaten. Next, the letter was mailed by Alan. Alan, who is the subject in the active voice, becomes the object of the preposition. The direct object letter becomes the subject and is acted upon by the verb was mailed. How about this one? The savannah is roamed by beautiful giraffes. That's right. Savannah is the subject being acted upon by the verb is roamed, and giraffes as the doer and the object of preposition in this sentence. Lastly, the flat tire was changed by Ryan. Flat tire is the subject being acted upon by the verb was changed, and Ryan as the doer and the object of preposition in this sentence. Here are the things you should remember when transforming voices. The direct object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. The subject in the active voice becomes the object of preposition in the passive voice. Only transitive verbs have direct objects. Remember, a transitive verb transfers its action to something or someone. Use an appropriate helping verb that is same tense in active and should agree with the object. And lastly, use past participle of the verb preceded by the auxiliary verb be and followed by the preposition by. Example, was done by. So here are other examples. At each concert, the soprano sang at least one tune from a well-known opera. Is this sentence written in active or passive voice? Yes, that is right. This is an active voice. Can you determine the subject, verb, and the direct object? So the soprano is the subject who performed the verb sang, and the tune is the direct object or the receiver of the action. Now, I would like you to transform it to passive voice. Very good. So it will become, at each concert, at least one tune from a well-known opera was sung by the soprano. The subject tune is the receiver of the action was sung, which is performed by the object of preposition soprano. Next, we are going to watch a movie tonight. So this sentence is an active voice. We as the subject are going to watch is the action and movie as a direct object. How about if we are going to transform it to passive voice? So it will become, a movie is going to be watched by us tonight. So movie is the subject which is acted upon by the verb to be watched and us as the doer and the object of preposition in this sentence. How about this sentence? All reservations was made by the wedding planner. Is this an active or passive voice? That's right. It is a passive voice. Reservations as the subject, which is acted upon by the action was made, and is performed by the wedding planner, which becomes the object of preposition. To transform it to active voice, it will become, the wedding planner is making all the reservations. How about this one? For the bake sale, 2 dozen of cupcakes will be baked by Susan. That's right. This sentence is a passive voice. Cupcakes as the subject, will be baked is the action, and Susan as the object of preposition. To transform it to an active voice, it will become, very good. Susan will bake 2 dozen of cupcakes for the bake sale. Always remember, in the active voice, the subject is doing the action. The pattern is doer plus verb plus receiver. While in the passive voice, the subject is not doing the action. The pattern is receiver plus verb plus doer. So using active voice often improves clarity, while passive voice can help avoid unnecessary repetition. Active voice can help ensure clarity by making it clear to the reader who is taking the action in the sentence. So that ends our lesson for today. If you have questions, please send a message at my messenger. For your activity, please open our Google Classroom. Have a great learning day!